And there's a education minister acknowledges computerized placement system challenges be brewing. Now, in tackling it, we need to look at the root causes of some of these challenges. I mean, Charles, one key problem CSSPS face, has to do with the categorization of schools. Say, be a school back home, category A, B, C, D. Even though you name say schools be should be based on merit, or more come out to their cutoff points. Yet, say results the bar. I will for person category A school. Category A school. Students who person category A. Obi and person C and ID and IV B. Meanwhile, no. Usha nipa no ahode no emiti ni category A ediaba and IB ediaba. Now usha proposal na minister no ediba na mamisha advantage back and disadvantage so or no or person de ya kano. Categorization is not the way to go because Nyoka say and say school say yeah grade B, you better upgrade to category A. In fact, a good position I was taking because it has to do with expansion of infrastructure. You are looking at facilities. You also say they are raising the pedigree of some of these category B schools to A and then C to B in Yama. In Tiabano infrastructure development, I'm all out for it. But to reduce category A to B, let me be someone who say, does it mean say they'll be transferring teachers from category A to B schools? And now say facilities now and make it up the category A. In fact, I say you're educating me that side. I'm not really getting the minister because me man, if you say what we need to do now is to upgrade the B's to A and then the C's to B and that kind of thing. And then boils down on say be expanding infrastructure and more facilities at the Amankwalano. Now, apart from the advantage, say be with categorization, Amankwalano, SCRD hoping say Omeya DM Omako category A school and IB challenges do not free categorization because I know and that and what. I don't think so we should go the same tangent. Say you be categorizing or you be increasing. In terms of facilities, yes. In terms of infrastructure, good. But I think we need to take out categorization. Instead, so far, my suggestion alternative approaches. School profiling instead of categorization. What do I mean by school profiling? We should be able to create detailed profiles. I bet me highlight school beyond unique strengths, weaknesses, and then school no specialization. And no mumbe students any awu for send a day before choose school on him say Mibano or person or STEM, science, technology, engineering, and then mathematics. With the profile, when he said these are the schools and then with the STEM. So Mibano person or business with the profile, meaning say schools A, B, and C. And bomoding business more. Say arts into to me profiling, proper profiling of the schools now. Before Nkwalani be chuso omunim ni omukwa koye and omunim school me abua omo. Now in profiling they can also decide to look at academic strengths they can also look at the teaching methods schools no be adaptive. They can also look at extracurricular activities schools need be extracurricular activities omo do enim pa ebi will be encouraged to attend some of these schools, say you're a footballer, and I say about volleyball, or not is into any other sports, or developing academic, or developing his sporting. If you're able to come out with this school profiling, I bet you to me, I'll make it informed choices. In the say, you choose schools, I feel so. Instead of categorization of schools, we can also consider the needs-based allocation. Say, you prioritize students individual needs. Say, proximity. We say, let me be Nwaya Fatu. Because I call Osabutey, right? And the reason why I call Osabutey is day school. Let's get me fee. And I mean, here say, let me accord day school. So what I did was, now my aunt also. Inti me continue my aunt when I call Osabutey. Inti na me nanti go school ba. And that nothing I choose to school, and it helped me because sometimes in this kind of say me call boarding house, and I say I'll be going outside Accra. But when I make a note here, into to me, some needs based allocation here. Ebeboa nkwalano say be a proximity who share almost special educational needs. I say who share so say you are not just relying on academic performance. Because who share category based allocation is all about academic performance, but we should be able to expand it. Send a better to meet the needs of other Nkwalano.
I have two issues for us to further the conversation on. Number one has got to do with the education ministry. Nasamana say we will recategorize some of the schools. Now, recategorization, for example, like you mentioned, say upgrading some of the schools and would demand infrastructural development in some of these schools. And it all boils down to budgeting. Looking at Sika Yisiho say de bo suku ehon ebra ewo oman no. How feasible will the upgrades be?
Yes. We will say when you know a proposal here, but as to whether a bino ekita enough funds are obetumi are expanding and also increasing facilities, they go more into infrastructure. Boils down to say dear Sikeoho. And the way who are there, and I don't think say this year budget, I capture say dear the CC school down and I say the expanding facilities with the model system or no proposal. No. And I think medium term BB and I say long term project BSA yet to me adapt to. It should be a national agenda. Well, the more population we increase, we have students population also increasing. But our challenge is that we are not matching the increase in students population with increased infrastructure.
True.
These challenges. No.
True.
But if we decide, say, we are coming out with a deliberate policy, say, every year, we then expand the infrastructure, and I say they increase infrastructure and facilities. And we're secondary schools, not just the secondary schools, but even at the basic level. No? So we could match it with the rate at which population grow, out of which Nkwalano from school also any. But say beer, or met me a year within a year or two year, and the doubtful kakra. But a year the beer almost decided. So I think they should be able to do that. Now that they have removed a cap, they get for more cap in the field. It's on cap now. You see, the more and say the more they can also channel some of this money into infrastructure development.
It is good that you've introduced the word capping. Some are suggesting, say, why not cap the performance, the greater and Kodani Benya, say, if you obtain beyond 36, aggregate 36, senior high school, will that amount to infringement on the right of Nkodano Ana?
Let me say, so share capping and what say beer. Even currently, cut-off points now schools more or less it is an indirect way of capping. So say be unya between 6 and 8 ubenya category A school. Unya between 9 and maybe 15 and 20 ubenya category B school. Indirectly, there is that aspect of capping. But to say so be ubenya 36 no school crowd here. I think say no say we deny right because whatever it is, once our system actually said 36 pass or bet me continue because when you're 36 the only thing I want to mean is say on to me and co school and as on your admission and co school or no person but as for say the school in the it should be still, we should still make it available for to me. I continue. Well, never be bree Emma Inquala to be passing, say choice and say this war to me Emma Obufeli. The fact that if I know I am 36 doesn't mean to say you Yansa minute more on to me continue. We have some students who are slow learners, we have some who are fast learners, so we need to address all these differences. So I wouldn't subscribe to say when you're 36 now, school. Yes, and I'll be denying quality be the right to education.
One thing that has become clear over the years has got to do with how we communicate some of the challenges around the computerized school selection and placement system to our four our door to the be What do you think we can do about that?
Honestly, a big problem because our four be brave or what name criteria na use in even selecting schools and also placement there should be transparency in terms of the placement criteria. We should be able to define now so young communicate the criteria used to stakeholders make stakeholders abroad students our for whom or be our interest in education should be privy to the criteria that you use in placing the students. If I am not reduce the wrong perception, I will for any students be war. Say via for a G, Ska, and Sanamo, a place you to other schools. Apart from that, say CS, no. I say using for almost 20 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, say every year be a more review and feedback. So they need to introduce regular review and then feedback mechanism from stakeholders. So that they to me identify areas here improvement. My international my engine and Ansana Yababa say we are going to do a complete overhaul of the system. But every year be to review now proper evaluation of the system. Now for feedback. At least in their own small way, they can also make suggestions as to how we can better the system. And then also a idea at the boa. I say, say, family can we soon come say, shares our self placement approach no below. Instead of centralization of self placement approach, decentralizing into regions and into districts. And then also be more pressure now. The two headquarters also very reduced. So and I think say with the self placement also, it should be proximity based placement. Say be Aqualano when you may not person placing one. Or to be called a district, no so me pay school where or district, and I say me pay school where or region. It says I will for travel from other regions, no more be now more be be moved that 2 days, 3 days, or in the name of say Obabe Play School, Ama Nima. I think we should also reconsider that this time round, if there will be self-placement, decentralizing, do a district, do a region, the pressure will reduce. And the Senate say education minister who say challenges be brilliant or SPS. Now we need to address this challenge going forward.
I think so the final question that I would ask you will border on human behavior, because ubia percent ba call grade A schools. Ubia percent most of the times the ba bet me I call boarding. How do we how do we deal with our foreign expectations? And again, there are obviously minds just like yourself. Our more you just mentioned placement before results abano. Do you have the feeling that we must change it and make it results matching with your school?
Right. So, share advantages are any ever in terms of Nkwalano be choose some schools and sana results number. And I say China results nimbra and sana choose schools. My first one. Say Nkwalano eko choose schools before say their results ni bebano. There are two things. Ebeti me ba say obey adie more than say their the expectation. Enti ono wa choose ebi a C, but the way oya adie pa no nti. Na osi o me ba be sisa a choose A. Na eno so akoye bibi fufuro. We dey all time me ankasa me dey me umbe man ato. The kai pa say time I make sure O level. Na you know I wasn't too sure. Enti we choose school back in Eastern region. Now results me buy na banya distinction. I make catch him man say me cause school ni bi o say dey my yard dey pa nti me cause school ni bi o. The pet school back one and also follow within the category A. Nti e go school one assistant headmaster dey serve say Ojafo say wanya waya dey na so ba ha omo so aya dey na omo chusu ha no yen for mo go he nti me dina na me catch him say I'll go to my school my local Eastern school. Nti people also have that problem and this will help. Now let's see yeah say dia Nkwala no be choose after results na abano and can no ebe boa, but the only problem is the calendar. If they'll be given enough time, say dia results they be bad term, moment me assure more results no so choose. And even with that, you may not be given the 100% assurance say oh grade now why you know who choose category A ubenya and also choose B ubenya. And also guaranteed because of the limited space I have with the elite schools no. Such as here. Share the me what I'll suggest is say we should balance it. Yema Nkwala no choose before. But the results the banner feel say oh who say we changes at least 1 week or 2 weeks no. We wait to back to the system. Now I change. I think that is what is being done. I think that we should educate parents on it more because we do have an idea. Now I choose A, but results need by M1. He's given opportunity to go back and change. Now I choose A, B, or B. Now, it's the more time, say 2 weeks, I'm going to choose before, and the results need by now, person was sour dream, and I was a sour dream. You can go into the system and then do whatever changes are. But even with that, no guarantee say because of limited space. We need to do yearly review of some of these policies. My problems every day.